जगे प्रतिकूलेन वा चित्तं यदा स्थिरम् अचञ्चलम् प्राणस्य शोधयेन्मार्गं पूरकुम्भकरे च गये प्रतिकूलेन वा चित्तं यदा स्थिरम् अचञ्चलम् प्राणस्य शोधयेन्मार्गं पूरकुम्भकरे च गये प्रतिकूलेन वा चित्तं यदा स्थिरम् अचञ्चलम्. Synonyms: pranasya of vital air. Sodhyet, one should clear. Margam, the passage. Pura kumbhaga rechakai, by inhaling, retaining, and exhaling. Pradikulena, by reversing. Va, or chittam, the mind. Yada, so that. Stiram, steady. Achanchalam, free from disturbances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The yogi should clear passage of vital air by breathing in the following manner. First, he should inhale very deeply, then hold the breath in, and finally exhale, or reversing the process. The yogi can first exhale, then hold the breath outside, and finally inhale. This is done so that the mind may come steady and free from external disturbances. Purport. These breathing exercises are performed to control the mind and fix it on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Save Pumsha Par Save Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. The devotee Ambarish Maharaj fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna 24 hours a day. The process of Krishna consciousness is to chant Hare Krishna and to hear the sound attentively so that the mind is fixed upon the transcendental vibration of Krishna's name, which is non-different from Krishna, the personality. The real purpose of controlling the mind by the prescribed method of clearing the passage of the life air is achieved immediately if one fixes his mind directly on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Hatha Yoga system or breathing system is especially recommended for those who are very absorbed in the concept of bodily existence. But one who can perform the simple process of chanting Hare Krishna can fix the mind more easily. 3 different activities are recommended for clearing the passage of breath. Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka. Inhaling the breath is called Puraka, sustaining it within is called Kumbhaka, and finally exhaling it is called Rechaka. These recommended processes can also be performed in the reverse order. After exhaling, one can keep the air outside for some time and then inhale. The nerves through which inhalation and exhalation are conducted are technically called Ida and Pingala. The ultimate purpose of clearing the Ida and Pingala passages is to divert the mind from material enjoyment. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one's mind is his enemy and one's mind is also his friend. Its position varies according to the different dealings of the living entity. We divert our mind to thoughts of material enjoyment, then our mind becomes an enemy. And if one concentrate our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, then our mind is a friend. By the yoga system of Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka, or by directly fixing the mind on the sound vibration of Krishna or on the form of Krishna, the same purpose is achieved. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that one must practice the breathing exercise Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. By virtue of this process of control, the mind cannot wander to external thoughts, Chedasa Nyanyagamina. Thus, one can fix his mind constantly on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and can attain Yati, Him. Practicing the yoga system of exercise and breath control is very difficult for a person in this age. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya recommended Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should always chant the holy name of Supreme Lord Krishna because Krishna is the most suitable name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The name Krishna and the Supreme Person Krishna are non-different. Therefore, one concentrates his mind on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, the same results is achieved. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Mahyam Dadati Sapadantigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yudapadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunadhanidam Dam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalidam Shri Vishakha Nidamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gauranki Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Nityananda Udendendur Vasudha Pranavallabha Janava Jividavadihi Krishna Prema Prada Prabho Padmavadi Sudha Sriman Sajinandana Purvajaha Bhavun Matta Jagatrada Rekta Gaura Kalevaraha Namo Namo Niruddhaya Rishikeshindriyatmane Namaha Paramahamsaya Purnaya Nuvurtatmane Om Sahana Vavadu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidamastu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining this very auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam class. So in this chapter, Kapila Dev is instructing Mother Devahuti how to execute the devotional services. From the beginning itself, Kapila Dev is instructing to Mother Devahuti that one should fix the mind by certain sitting posture that we sit. That's called asanas. Sit properly and sit so that we can completely meditate on the Supreme Lord. So there are many ways that Kapila Devi is mentioning that one should control, abstain from the sense indulgence so that we can fix the mind, take care of the body in such a way that so that we can utilize in the service of the Lord and fix the mind in the service of the Lord. So this way one can come to that completely, come to the stage of samadhi. So this is also another way of saying that how we can reach to that the completely in absorption of the Supreme Lord. Anyway, that's the purpose, that's the aim, the goal of our life, that completely surrender unto the Supreme Lord. So in the Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga system, it is called 8 limbs of the yogas. Yoga means to connect to the Supreme, which comes from the original root word called yuj. Yuj means to connect. So that all these processes is to connect to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in different ways, different people have different types of interpretations, and they bring different ways. And some utilizes this for the material benefits, some utilizes for this the spiritual benefits. And moreover, this yoga system is nowadays used for material benefits, but originally it's meant for the spiritual benefit, that one can come to that stage of samadhi. So these 8 limbs is yama, niyama, then asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So this is a progressive processes, sequential processes that initially one has to control the processes which is known as yama and niyama, which is very very powerful. And also in Bhakti Yoga. So in the Ashtanga Yoga, which is Yama and Niyama, which is that one has to go through ahimsa, that means non-violence. Then Satya, the truthfulness. Then there is another called Asteya, is called non-stealing. Then Brahmacharya, that means controlling the senses and moderation. Then Aparigraha means non-greed. So this is generally into the Ashtanga Yoga process, which is called Yama. That means that we don'ts, or that means Ahimsa means we should not indulge in the violence. So in the Bhakti Yoga process, which Sri Rupa Goswami also mentioned in the similar way, but that is very applicable for in this age of Kali, right? In the earlier ages, which is very strict, these yamas and the niyamas. But in the age of Kali, as we are very much weakened in our thoughts and in our activities and our lifespan, our strength of our mind, it's all considered that Sri Rupa Goswami very nicely explained that how we can, in this age of Kali, can we control all this. In the Nectar of Instructions, Sri Rupa Goswami reveals this, and it's mentioned that Vajo Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Udara Upasta Vegam. That means one should control the urges of the speech. So this is also unnecessarily talking also or giving pain to others is also called himsa, or that called violence. So it's very nicely Rupa Goswami mentioned that one should control his urges of speech so that it would not give unnecessary trouble or pain to the other living entities. That's also part of this ahimsa. So we can, at the same time, we can also then come to that to focus our mind properly so that we can fix, properly in Krishna consciousness. That's what is urges. Urges, control the urges of the speech, urges the control of the tongues. That means unnecessary eating. That's also a part of ahimsa. Ahimsa means that killing as well as at the same time eating is also ahimsa, because we are propagating and promoting this non-violence. So that is very strictly mentioned that one should free from, abstain from all this. So Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned that Vajo Vegam, then Manasa Krodha Vegam. Krodha means angry. That also comes to the term of ahimsa. That means himsa. And then we should stay away from it, and we should control our all the urges of the speeches and angry and all those things. Krodha Vegam, Udhara Vegam. That means also we should control our belly and control our genitals. So this way that we can regulate. And in the Bhakti Yoga, compared to the Ashtanga Yoga, then our acharyas put together that the four regulative principles. Again, that is also comes to the niyamas, right? That which we do. I mean, also the dons. So yamas and the niyamas also there in the Bhakti Yoga process. That means it is mentioned that the four regulative principles, that no meat eating, right? So that means which is also in comes in line with this ahimsa. That means no meat eating. Man means we should not promote anything these kinds of violence. So this way we can also free from all these sinful activities. So no meat eating, no intoxication. That again, drinking alcohol, these are all sinful activities. So no intoxication and no gambling. That means there is a term in the yamas, in the Ashtanga Yoga process, which is called aparigraha. Aparigraha means non-greed. So this gambling is actually to develop this greed in humans, and also it's completely pollutes the minds and completely can stay away from all this our very steady mind. So again, everything is actually in a different terms. So it says no gambling, so that people in general, especially in Kali Yuga, the main hobby of or habit of the people that accumulate more than is necessary, more than, so it's called greed. So even if people have some money, they put into the stocks and to accumulate more and more and more and more every day. They think that, okay, how can I accumulate more and more? This is called greed. Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned that this way, and also for regulative principles, no gambling and then no illicit sex. That's also called brahmacharya. No illicit activities or illicit sex is called brahmacharya. So these are all part of the yama, that means don'ts, right? And there is also niyama. This is also Ashtanga Yoga process. And this is also when it comes to Bhakti Yoga, then these are called do's. That means in the Ashtanga Yoga, there is niyamas, which is called the do's. That means shauja. Shauja is that means purity. Purity of our mind, purity of our body, purity of our senses. So this is called shauja means. So then by the process in the Bhakti Yoga processes, we can chant the holy name. This way our mind can be purified. Mind can be controlled and purified. So then mind is controlled, our senses are also controlled. When the senses are controlled, our body is controlled. This is the way that the best way that in the Bhakti Yoga, the similar process, the purification of the mind and the body and the senses. Then sandushta or sandosha means that's in Ashtanga Yoga process, the niyama, the sandushta or sandosha is contentment. And in the Bhagavatam also they says that in the Bhakti Yoga process that evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yoga evam prasanna manaso. So we have to keep, stay away from unwanted all this, which gives the troubles and anxieties and worries and people have so much of inclination in this material world. Okay, this party, this game, that game, these processes, and people are, it gives all sufferings to the mind. Then it is always that worry and always in anxiety, always in distress. So this is because of our unwanted or over endeavor to accumulate more and more. This way it gives the sadness and the distress to the mind. Then there is a niyama. It is called tapas. Tapas means the accepting pain and not causing pain. So in the Bhakti Yoga, that tapas is actually the Sankirtana, yajna Sankirtana prayer. That means we do yajna or sacrifice or that tapas, which is that chanting of the holy name, that one can get up in the morning and very pure state of mind, one can chant the holy name. I mean, taking a little bit of, trouble or little bit of pain, or maybe losing our sleep and getting up and then chanting and engaging in the service of the Lord. And at the same time, and not causing pain to the others. Similarly, we stay away from all this material, this entanglement and stay and steady so that we can continue this process. So this also there in the Bhakti Yoga process. Then Swadhyaya, this is called in the Ashtanga Yoga process, the one of the limbs that Swadhyaya means spiritual study. That's what it is. We are in the Bhakti Yoga process mentioned that we are studying every day. And Srila Prabhupada says that we should study Srila Prabhupada's books instead of just reading. We should study. Study means to the deeper understanding, right? So we put time to deeply understand the subject matter of this transcendental science. That's called Swadhyaya. So these yamas and niyamas, which is recommended in the Ashtanga Yoga process, also in the Bhakti Yoga, this way we can also attain that our perfectional stage. So then in this verse, which is mentioned that uh, Kapiladev was mentioning and instructing to Mother Devahudi that we should come to that state of pranaya. Pranaya means that this the purpose of this pranayam is to control the mind. As is mentioned that yadastiram achanchalam, right? Yadastiram achanchalam. Achanchalam means chanchalam means flickering, and achanchalam means very steady. So the processes Kapila Dev is instructing to Mother Devahudi brings one's mind to that stage where we can completely absorb in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all these processes are dovetail or meant to come to that stage of controlling our mind. So it's very difficult, right? As Srila Prabhupada mentioned that, and he, quoting the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that Arjuna is asking to Supreme Lord that Krishna was instructing all this, and Krishna was instructing the same thing. And there is a sixth chapter in Bhagavad Gita, which is also the refers that referring this Ashtanga Yoga processes, or in that Krishna is also revealing the same. Like Kapila Devi is revealing to Mother Devahudi, one should go to a secluded place, seated, on a deer skin, and put that sit in properly in a position and focus your mind. And similarly, Krishna also revealing this too. And the Arjuna then asked this question that, oh Krishna, that is, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So it's very difficult. And Arjuna says that is Sudridam. Sudrida Arjuna is using the Sudridam means it's very difficult. That it's, cannot, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. It's so difficult to control. Then Krishna is saying, replying to Arjuna, yes, Arjuna, yes, it is very true that it's very difficult to control, but one can abhyasa yoga yuktena vairagya briyade. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. So Srila Prabhupada quoting here, this abhyasa yoga is referring is this, one can go through this, the asanas and the pranayam. So once through the pranayam, that one can come to that stage of controlling the mind. So it's otherwise it's very difficult. So then, especially this is where the acharyas comes in place. Especially Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that the best way, and they experience this, the best way in this age of Kali to control the mind, even this pranayama process goes through in this age of Kali is very difficult. It is not that we cannot even completely perform our yamas and niyamas, and that is very much needed for to come to that stage of asana. If we are not able to come to that asana, then how can we come to the pranayama stage? It's very difficult. So when it comes to that pranayama, then if you are doing it properly, then we can, some extent, we can control our mind and the body and the senses. So this is the purpose of pranayama. So it's very difficult to control, especially in this age of Kali. So Srila Prabhupada is referring that the one way that one can come to that, control the mind is that to fix the mind to chant the holy name, especially in this age of Kali. So Srila Prabhupada says that Kirtaniya Sadahari. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Where is that? In that verses, it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing that in the Shastakam. How is that? Trinatapi Sunichena, Taroriva Saushrana, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. And it's beginning with this beautifully Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealing, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealing that mission, especially in this age of Kali. When we look at this pranayama, yes, pranayama, there are many, ways that we can do it. That is what's referring here. One is called, there is, uh, as it's mentioned that puraga means, bringing the, inhaling the air, and then it's called kumbhaga, holding the air in the within the body, and it's called rechaka, then exhaling it. So there is a different wonderful process out there. Pranayam, there is 5 kinds of pranas. Prana means the vital force which we receive through the air, which we receive through the food, which we receive through the water, which we receive from the air, and from we receive through the sun, and so many ways we get this in our body. The when it is imbalanced, as we know that there are 72,000 nadis, that is means the nervous systems that within our body, and which all carries this energy to the different parts of our body. When it is actually not goes through the different parts of our body, it becomes to be imbalanced. That means somebody have problem with the legs, somebody have problem with stomach, digestion problem, somebody has problem with asthma and the breathing problems, somebody has problem with the sound and it chalk ups the nose, somebody has the throat, and somebody has problem with the nose, somebody has problem with the brain, somebody has problem with the hearing, and this all controls by this vital force. This is known as the pranas. So when we inhale the pranas, or we get the pranas, and then that also goes, that has to go through the an entire body. That's why it's recommended this pranayama. And there is the prana which goes in, and then that is called apana. Then prana is the main vital force, and there are 4 other forces. Then there is apana, then samana, udana, and vyana. So it is mentioned that then all parts of the body, these 5 kinds of air, and also there is other 5 other subtypes of air, prana, which controls the body, controls the entire functions of the body. When it is balanced, that's why it's recommended pranayama. If one is able to do it, very good, because of this way, and there are so many benefits also out of it. And even it says that even one can prevent the heart diseases, one can prevent the asthma, one can prevent this memory problems, one can prevent the digestive problems. And if you do this pranayama, that means inhale and exhale and then hold it, and then there is 2 sections of it called ida and pingala. Ida is on the left side of it, and pingala is right side of it. When we close one of the nostril and inhale through the left nostrils, it's actually energizes this left side that goes through the ida, and then one closes on the left nose and inhale through the right nose, that goes to the pingala, then right sides and hold it, and then hold it, get it through the. So this way there are so many types of pranayama, so there are so many benefits also there. But this is just a exercise of the breathing processes. But ultimately, Kapila Dev is instructing us to that come to the stage of controlling the mind. So the best way to control the mind, especially in the age of Kali. And as is mentioned that Yajna Sankirtana Prayer, right? Kalir Doshe Nidan Rajan Ashti Ego Ki Mahan Guna. This is Srila Sukadev Goswami instructing to Parishit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavad. Kalir Doshe Nidan Rajan Ashti Ego Ki Mahan Guna Kirtaniyasya Krishnasya Mukta Sangam Param Vraje. So ultimately, all this yoga asana process is to come to that stage of samadhi, as is mentioned that pranayama, the next stage is called pratyahara. Pratyahara means to control all our pratyahara. That means all the intake and control balances our all the system. And that's pratyahara. Then we come to the dharana, the proper understanding. And then we come to the stage of dhyana. Dhyana means then only we can completely meditate and come to that, control the mind and meditate upon that supreme. Then we come to that stage of samadhi. Samadhi means completely absorption, complete in absorption. That's why Srila Prabhupada is mentioned here about the Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj completely absorbs in the Supreme Lord. So this way is the process of this Sankirtan, the process of chanting of the holy name, the best in the age of Kali, right? In this age of Kali is the best Kalir. And Sankirtana, Krishnasya, Kirtanadasya Krishnasya, so Kirtaniya Sadahari. And if we have that Sankirtan, that chanting of the holy name of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, then we can completely fixes our mind. That's why the mantra means also Manana Tranane Idi is a mantra. That means to overcome the mind. And this is the best way to overcome the mind. Otherwise, very difficult to overcome the mind. So, as we know that in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, there are 5 stages of the mind, 5 status of the mind is mentioned. One is called Shipta, Vishipta, Mudha, Ekagra. Then it comes to the Niruddha. Then that's a transcendental stage. I mean, Shipta means it's a contaminated, and Vishipta means completely contaminated. Then Mudha means very foolish mind. And then it's called Ekagra. And this all pranayama also bring to that stage. One can come to that mind very Ekagra, very focused. So that's why it's recommended that we should have an attentive chanting. So with this process, when you have the attentive chanting, then one can come to that stage of control the mind. So especially in this age of Kali, is complete disturbances out there. Wherever you go, wherever you look, wherever you think, everywhere it is actually there is an distractions of the mind. So that's why it's recommended that one should get up in the morning, early morning, and focus on attentive chanting. This way, when you Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena, in this process, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, the Abhyasa, this is the real Abhyasa that we need to follow and cultivate. When we cultivate this Abhyasa Yoga, getting up in the morning and focus the mind and chant the holy name, this way only that we can overcome, especially in this age of Kali. And that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also come and has manifested in this world to establish this Yuga Dharma. What is that Yuga Dharma? The chanting of the holy name. You know, Yajna is Sankirtana prayer, right? Param Vijayade Sri Krishna Sankirtana man. What is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord invested all his potency in his holy name. Namna Makari Nija Sarva Shakti. He has invested all the potencies in his holy name. Tatrapida Niyamida Smaranena Kar. There is no time, place, circumstances, any time that we can chant this holy name. This way, one can come to that ultimate stage of the dhyana or the focus, the controlled mind, and then one can, this process only that we can completely absorb in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what is being needed. So that Srila Prabhupada very nicely mentioned that what Kapila Devi is mentioned or meant for this different other ages, but what is really meant for this age of Kali, that Srila Prabhupada is very nicely put that we should completely focus, absorb on chanting of the holy name and very attentive chanting. So eventually we can come to that complete absorption of the Supreme Lord. And that's the benefit of the chanting of the holy name. This word is exactly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission to bring everybody in this age of Kali. As mentioned that Kali Yuga is fallen down, but there is a very golden period in this age of Kali. The next 10,000 years from the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the golden period of time. And it's mentioned that in this golden period of time, the Gaura Leela is happening. So this is the Gauri Leela time, this 10,000 years. That means everywhere the holy name is chanted. And people can take advantage of chanting of the holy name so they can attain the Supreme Lord and come to that stage of samadhi and full absorption of the Supreme Lord. And that's why many devotees are doing it. They do get up in the morning, they chant, they worship the Supreme Lord, they engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. And there are so many services in the temple. And all of the time they try to put themselves and absorb in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is a benefit, and we can see that so many people then transformed just by chanting of the holy name. We know that when Srila Prabhupada came to this country, and people who are in hippies and happies indulging in so many abominable activities. But in due course of time, like I said, 1 year, 3 months, 6 months, they all become the saintly people, and just because of chanting the holy name. So, dear devotees, as mentioned that this is the best way to that we can come to that complete understanding and the absorption of Krishna just by chanting the holy name, just by Sankirtan. So this is the mission, and this is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day is coming, and this is the absolute mission that we all have to follow. Just take the holy name, and this gives all the benefit, and gives all the benefits and everything that just by chanting of the holy name one can attain that the complete perfection and the ultimate goal of our life. With this note, I would end here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Prabhu, for nicely beginning our week with remembering Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Sankirtan moment. I'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day and week ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Padma Mukha Padma Bhinam, Ugravidam Mahavishlam Jalantam Sarvatomukam, Nrsimha Vishnamandam Swami Namahamiham. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Pavanebhyo Namo Namaha. Vaishnavi ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Vaishnavi ki Jai. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome.